baby animals are probably more adorable than human babies. Compared to humans, they are able to do so much more from the day they are born. Baby giraffes can stand minutes after birth, and baby sea turtles can find their way to the ocean seconds after being hatched. Meanwhile, human babies can barely support their own heads for months. However, one thing we all have in common as babies is clumsiness. Taking your first steps doesn't come without their falls, but babies learn to pick themselves up and try again until they can walk around helpless. This is what one newborn zebra did minutes after his birth, yet unknowingly, he was heading in the wrong direction. One baby zebra at Valencia Biopark in Spain managed to stand up seconds after his mom gave birth, only to dangerously stumble to the water. His mother's reaction was not expected. Valencia Biopark is a 25-acre zoo in sunny Spain where the animals are as happy as those in the computer-animated film Madagascar. The zoo follows the concept of zoo immersion. Rather than having animals behind railings or inside cages like in many other zoos around the world, this zoo uses rivers, streams, ponds, and rocks to separate animals from the visitors. It takes on the idea that visitors are actually immersing themselves inside the animal's natural habitat. Meanwhile, in the Valencia Biopark, many animals coexist in the same habitats. This may sound dangerous, but predatory species are integrated into areas just as easy to see as other animals. However, they are separated from other species and humans by barriers that visitors would not even notice. The park is located close to the Turia River, where there is a stunning botanical garden. In one area, the zebras share space with rhinos and flamingos, but one zebra was about to give birth. The mother due to give birth was named La Niña, which has the meaning the girl in Spanish. Unlike in the wild, La Niña had the advantage of being monitored during her pregnancy, and the birth was closely looked over so that if anything went wrong, staff were on hand. And that is exactly what happened. Without epidural or medical assistance, this zebra had to do it all alone. Before the baby was out, she fell from exhaustion. If 9 months feels like enough to us, imagine carrying a baby zebra inside of you for an entire year. Female zebras remain pregnant for around 12 to 13 months before she separates from her family and herd to hide from predators for the birth. It's almost like the mom really does earn her stripes. Although the skull of a newborn zebra is less than half of its mother's, their legs are 95% the length of hers, possibly giving an explanation for what was to happen. La Niña was lucky enough to have the father of the baby by her side, Zambe, offering support to the mother of his child in the best way he could. He was seen hovering by her side and communicating with her. Collapsed onto her side, La Niña continued to push despite her exhaustion. Alas, the baby came out, who turned out to be a boy, and he was certainly ready for action. Otherwise known as foals, it did not take long for the baby zebra to attempt to get up and start walking. This was very normal, as most foals can stand within 10 to 20 minutes of birth. Within an hour, they can even run. However, this had dangerous consequences. During the entire labor, the staff at the biopark were filming the miraculous event. They watched as the newborn came out of its mother and lay on the sand for a few moments before gradually stumbling to his feet. His mother finally managed to pick herself up and began to continually lick him all over, cleaning him from the residue. Zebras tend to stand up and walk quickly as an evolutionary tactic to get milk. However, this young boy wanted something other than that. Waiting to be cleaned, he decided his mother's licking was taking too long. He spotted the watering hole nearby, and as soon as his mother cut off his umbilical cord, he went stumbling towards the water. Although his legs were still a little wobbly and he paused for a few moments during his approach, his mom was still too tired to chase after him. Staff looked on in anticipation, unsure what was about to happen. While newborn foals are able to walk, they were not made to swim. La Niña, the mother, panicked. Through the video, the staff watched on as Mom began making noises in desperation. She had spent a year pregnant and hours in labor, and her new baby was about to walk into the water, potentially ending his 30-second life. Exhausted, she was unable to move and had no choice but to just look on in horror. During the first 2 days, the mother will keep the baby by her side, even limiting their contact with other zebras so that he can learn to identify her sight, smell, and sound. Therefore, not only was La Niña worried about her baby heading for the water, but she was also afraid of the separation. Desperate for a bath, this foal went straight into the water, not realizing the dangers. In absolute distress, this zebra mother had no idea what she should do. Luckily for this mother, she was not in the wild and had the advantage of human help. Staff from Valencia Biopark stepped in and headed towards the zebra and her baby, who appeared to now be drowning. Jumping into the water, these two zookeepers were brave, and it wasn't just because the protective mom was seeing red. One of the first things to know as a zookeeper, the beginner's guide to saving baby animals, if you will, is to make sure that the mom will not attack you. Therefore, the zookeepers knew that if the mom began to approach them, they would have to do something quickly to keep her back. They needed to make sure that the mom would keep her distance in order to give them enough time to get the baby out. Did they manage it? It wasn't long until the baby zebra learned that his bath was not as relaxing as he had hoped, and he struggled to keep his head above the water. The men approached and tried to catch him. Not only did they need to rescue the distressed and heavy zebra, but they also had to keep an eye on the protective mom who could pounce any second. Trekking through the water, they grabbed the baby, and the mom's reaction is amazing. La Niña watched the events unfolding before her and was distraught when she saw these two humans capturing her newborn baby. Using all her strength and maternal instincts, she found the courage and strength to get up and walk towards the water to save her baby. The mom is still quite dazed and confused after having just given birth and approaches the men in anger. That is, until one of the zookeepers makes another bold move. Carrying the 70-pound baby as fast as they could to the shore, the zookeepers noticed that the mom was getting nearer and nearer. One of the zookeepers thought back to his training and made the brave move of splashing water at the mom as a way of letting her know to stay back. The mom is left stunned, but then takes a moment to realize what these men are actually trying to do. Her next move was even more amazing. Within a matter of seconds, the men managed to carry the baby out of the water and carefully placed him onto the sand. Knowing their place, they knew all too well that they had to quickly back up in order to let the mom and son reunite. They may have been in a zoo, but in this one, they were predominantly in the animal's home. Following along, the mom dashed out of the water and headed towards her child. Slowly, while watching the two men walk away, she approached her newborn baby to check that he was all right. Although she doesn't know it, La Niña is very lucky. In the wild, her baby foal would not have stood a chance at survival after walking headfirst into the water minutes after learning to walk. In the zoo, the animals do not have to worry about the survival of the fittest tactics, as whatever harmful things or happenings they may encounter, the staff will do their very best to ensure the animals' welfare is safe. The zebras and two zookeepers were not the only ones witnessing the ordeal at the Valencia Biopark. There was actually quite a big crowd of people watching as the birth and dangerous events unfolded. Immediately, they burst into applause when the heroes dragged the baby zebra to shore. They cheered them on, too, and watched as La Niña continued to bathe her baby. What they got to witness next was even more outstanding. After the traumatic event, everyone around was then able to witness the mom bathe her newborn how she was supposed to and feed him her milk. It was a sight never to be forgotten, and the zebras continued to happily play together. The mom and baby, who is still yet to be named, are doing just fine, and he is settling into life at the biopark. The baby feeds well and regularly. He certainly learned quickly that babies cannot swim.